The sun hung low over the training compound, its harsh light cutting across the field where laughter had turned into something darker. Cadet Emily Hart stood with her back against the barracks wall, the coarse concrete pressing into her shoulders. 3 cadets closed in, young, brash, and careless. Their smirks carried the kind of arrogance that only ignorance could afford. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. The calm in her eyes unsettled them more than anger ever could. "Didn't know they let veterans play teacher now," one sneered, stepping closer. "You gonna show us how to fold socks, ma'am?" The others laughed, the sound sharp against the silence of the base. Emily just watched them, her breathing steady, her hands at her sides. She wasn't angry, not yet, but the flicker in her gaze hinted that they had no idea who they were cornering. "Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening." Emily had joined the training program quietly, her records sealed under orders. To most, she was just another instructor, calm and detached. What they didn't know, what no one had been told, was that she had once been part of the Navy's most covert Special Operations Unit, a SEAL combat veteran, decorated but disillusioned, who had disappeared after a mission that left her with more scars than medals. Now, she was here, trying to teach young recruits not just how to fight, but how to think. But some lessons, it seemed, had to be taught the hard way. As the cadets stepped closer, the air thickened. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. One reached for her shoulder. A mocking gesture. The moment his hand touched her uniform, time shifted. In a blur, Emily moved. The first cadet found himself face down in the dirt, his arm twisted harmlessly but firmly behind his back. The second stumbled backward as she sidestepped and swept his legs. The third froze, confusion flickering into fear. It wasn't rage that filled her eyes now. It was precision. Controlled, lethal precision honed from years of combat and restraint. But she stopped there. She didn't strike again. She didn't need to. The silence that followed was punishment enough. Around them, other trainees had gathered, drawn by the commotion. They stared, whispering, trying to piece together what they had just seen. One of the senior instructors stepped forward, his face pale. "Ma'am," he murmured. You're Hart, from Task Unit Echo?" Her jaw tightened. The crowd went still. The name meant something, even to the ones too young to know her story. And just like that, the bravado drained from the 3 cadets. The realization hit harder than any strike could. The woman they'd cornered wasn't just an instructor. She was a legend, one whose actions had saved lives, one whose name was whispered with reverence in quiet corners of the Navy. Emily took a slow breath, glancing at the young men before her. "Respect," she said softly, "isn't given because of rank. It's earned by how you carry yourself." No one spoke. The cadets, red-faced and shaken, helped each other to their feet. She nodded for them to stand tall. "You're soldiers. Start acting like it." Later that night, the same 3 knocked on her door. No arrogance now, only humility. One of them spoke quietly. "We didn't know who you were." "We're sorry," Emily gave a small smile. "Doesn't matter who I was. What matters is who you become." And for the first time, they saw her not as an enemy, but as someone who had already walked through the fire they were about to enter. Weeks later, when a grueling field test pushed the class to its limits, those same cadets were the first to help their struggling teammates, repeating her words like a creed. Respect is earned by how you carry yourself. Because some lessons don't come from authority. They come from example. Because real power doesn't need to be loud. It only needs to be true. And in that silent moment at dusk, the same wall where she once stood, cornered now glowed in the setting sun. A quiet symbol of strength, restraint, and redemption. If this story moved you, hit subscribe and share it with someone who believes courage is louder than pride. And tell me, what would you have done if you were in Emily's shoes?